Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna engages in desperate manipulation of Will in prison, while Taylor elaborates on Deacon's trauma bond with Sheila. Deacon inquires of Electra regarding Luna's actions towards Wood. Deacon presumes Taylor desires him to part ways with Sheila, and Luna is confident that Will would extricate her. Will visited Luna upon discovering her assault, while Remy cautioned Deke against mentioning him on his inaugural day at Forrester. Luna expresses her gratitude to Will for his visit to the prison. With a sniffle, she expresses that his concern for her and their child is profoundly significant. He asserts that his presence is solely for the infant. She removes a solitary tear from her swollen eye and expresses her concerns for their infant. He desires to commence. Luna informs him that he is a commendable individual and emphasizes that his being there jeopardizes her baby's safety. Will declines to allow her to control him. She reiterates that their child is at risk. The guard escorts Luna back to her cell, and she informs that Will rescue her from this place. She ascends into her cot and asserts that Daddy will extricate them. In the design office, Deke inquires of Electra whether an incident occurred between her boyfriend and Luna. She asserts that they need to concentrate on today as his significant day. While he admires her bangles, she seethes with resentment, believing that Luna and all others who assisted her should face consequences for their actions. He recalls his initial encounter with Luna as Remy's acquaintance. Electra describes Luna's actions towards Will as complicated before gazing into the distance and sulking. Following Deke's departure, Will arrives and reveals that Luna sustained bruises, but the baby is unharmed. She is pleased to receive the news. He states that Luna alleges the inmates from the previous incident are assaulting her. She is certain it was difficult to observe her. He would be indifferent were it not for the child. She understands that none of this is attributable to him. Witnessing her distress is profoundly affecting him. He is resolute in preventing anyone from intervening in their relationship. They embrace, and he appears anxious. At Il Giardino, Sheila accidentally spills water and recalls witnessing Taylor embrace Deacon. She recalls him expressing his infatuation with her toes and proposing, only to then leave abruptly. In Taylor's office, she and Deacon discuss Sheila's betrayal of his trust. She believes he shares a trauma bond with Sheila that fosters codependency. He became infatuated with Sheila due to his perceived unworthiness of love and his attachment to her stemming from a dread of solitude. He acknowledges Sheila's eccentricity yet harbors affection for her. Taylor enumerates his wife's transgressions and deceit, questioning whether he can ever regain faith in her. Deacon presumes she believes he ought to abandon his wife. She refrains from instructing him but advises that he heed his heart. He is uncertain of its reliability, yet she asserts that his heart has not yet betrayed him. Deacon asserts that she alleviates every discomfort. He is uncertain of how he would manage in her absence. Deke visits Il Giardino to see his father. They engage in light-hearted conversation, and Deacon expresses his admiration for his son's decision to secure employment without using his connections. While Deacon serves the drinks, Deke remarks that he has a silly expression. He thinks whether there have been alterations about Sheila. He and Hope merely desire his happiness. His father acknowledges that it is a challenge. Deke inquires about the progress of therapy. He takes pride in him for attending. Deacon asserts that Taylor is exceptional and ideally suited for him. She enhances his well-being, and he is fortunate to have her in his life. In Taylor's office, she is conversing with a patient on the phone, asserting that thoughts do not constitute reality. Sheila arrives. She is aware of her encounter with Deacon and is fervently seeking to preserve her marriage. She aspires to recognize her transformation, attributing it to Deacon. She may have concealed Luna, but she also sustained a gunshot wound for Steffi. She asserts her moral integrity and requests assistance in salvaging her marriage. Taylor is unable to disclose information about her patient. Sheila continues to fabricate justifications. Deacon represents her future and is of paramount importance to her. She pledges that the incident involving Luna will not again. Luna's revelation results in incarceration, release, or evasion? Luna Nozawa consistently asserted that she was subjected to physical abuse while incarcerated. However, this turned out to be yet another falsehood, as this esteemed Emmy Award winner presented yet another outstanding performance. Viewers probably commenced a synchronized nod when Luna's formidable cellmate enthusiastically consented to administer another bodily assault. The sight of those clenched fists, transitioning to a close-up of Luna's expectant visage, followed by the sound of the punch landing, was nauseating. The aforementioned also corroborated the suspicions that had lingered in doubtful minds since Luna initially deceived Bill Spencer to secure her release from incarceration. She was neither targeted in prison nor subjected to an irrational outburst. Luna orchestrated an attack as a component of a deceptive strategy. Bill Spencer has been accepted. The adverse childhood bit. Luna composed a sequence of letters addressed to Bill. She emphasized her experiences growing up with Poppy Nozawa as her mother. The visible prison assaults resulted in numerous facial contusions that Bill noticed during his initial visit to her in prison. This resulted in him leveraging political ties to relocate her sentence service from a state jail to his residence. Luna's arrival at Bill's residence enabled her to progress farther. She used his emotions, and he exerted his financial influence to an extraordinary extent to secure Luna's pardon. Virtually no one remains who cares about Luna Nozawa. Luna has observed that Bill possesses no remaining sympathy for her. She may attempt to reinitiate the assault angle, however, he might merely react by facilitating her transfer to solitary prison. Fans may question why Luna was not segregated in prison upon her return, given concerns regarding her potential actions towards any roommate, as opposed to the opposite scenario. Nonetheless, that aspect of the narrative was essential for advancing the storyline, particularly regarding Luna's coincidental association with the cellmate who initially consented to assault her. Bill and Poppy desire Luna's incarceration. Lee Nozawa and John Finnegan may seek to request Luna's isolation following the recent alleged assault. Will Spencer is also affected, as Luna is expecting his kid, and Katie Logan serves as the other grandma. Sheila Carter Sharp must be the next candidate. Sheila Carter Sharp is the sole individual that not only cares for Luna but also empathizes with her. Her response to Will's paternity was distinct from all the others. Sheila smiled, acknowledging her granddaughter's aspirations for advancement. Luna must contact Sheila if no one else replies to her seeming appeals for help. Alternatively, Sheila may discover the heartbeat during an initial visit. Anticipating Sheila's ability to facilitate a prison release is unrealistic. However, Brown's iconic persona has frequently evaded justice, at times in a literal sense. She may assist Luna in doing the same. Spencer's unforeseen new rivalry. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, Deke Sharp will further acclimate himself at Forrester Creations while commemorating his new position at Hope for the Future. He has been dedicating a considerable amount of time to Will Spencer's girlfriend, Electra Forrester. Ought Dollar Bill Jr. to be concerned? Deke Sharp was presented as one half of The Bold and the Beautiful's inaugural same-sex coupling. Soap fans readily presumed that Remy Price's lover was homosexual, but what if he is bisexual? Upcoming events on the CBS soap opera, with spoilers for B&B detailed below. Deke is also attracted to women? The most recent LGBTQ plotline on The Bold and the Beautiful reveals that Maya Avant was formerly male, underwent surgery, and changed her identity. The powers that be at the soap opera frequently prioritize shock value. Remy Price was formerly enamored with Electra Forrester until he changed allegiances and cohabited with Deke. Describing him as in love is an understatement. He was fixated and engaging in stalking behavior towards her. Flirting with Electra may motivate Deke to pursue romantic relationships with women. Electra requires emotional support. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers indicate that the relationship between Will Spencer Jr., Crew Morrow, and Electra is precarious, with minimal likelihood of enduring through Luna's pregnancy. It is but a question of time before Deke discovers the atrocious actions Remy inflicted upon Electra, leading them to a similar fate of separation. The soap operas have explored same-sex partnerships in recent years. However, it is rather uncommon for a gay guy to develop romantic feelings for a woman on daytime television, or the reverse. The Bold and the Beautiful presents a complex interplay of manipulation, trauma, and illicit relationships as Luna Nozawa's urgent attempt to regain control over her disrupted life confronts Will Spencer's growing resentment, Taylor Hayes's analytical examination of Deacon Sharp's damaged psyche, and Sheila Carter's escalating fear and obsession. The hour progressed as a symphony of deceit and grief, each note designed to highlight the soap's persistent expertise in moral ambiguity. The camera focused on the poorly illuminated visiting room of the Los Angeles County Correctional Facility, where Luna, still battered and swollen-eyed from her self-inflicted assault, sat beneath flickering fluorescent lights, the sound of metal doors clanging accentuating her measured, deliberate breathing. Upon Spencer's entrance, his posture was stiff, and his tone was terse, a guy resisting the want to experience compassion. Luna's expression immediately softened, her voice's subtle quiver precisely calibrated to evoke empathy. "I appreciate your presence," she murmured, her gaze flitting to his, probing for vulnerabilities in his emotional front. The script depicted her as sniffling and wiping a solitary tear from her swollen eye, yet the eerie quality of the scene stemmed from the duality of the performance. Lisa Yamada's Luna was not merely imploring for compassion, she was constructing a narrative. In that moment, she transformed into both sufferer and orchestrator, cognizant that every sob and tremor may serve as her means of escape. Will's voice, terse and frigid, pierced the tension. "I am solely present for the infant." The focus on baby was the dagger that Luna declined to acknowledge. Instead, she embraced the manipulation, intertwining maternal anxiety with self-pity, asserting that the infant, his infant, was at risk within those prison confines. For Luna, truth was pliable, she could manipulate it into something advantageous. The scene transitioned to a close-up of her quivering lips as she murmured, "You're a good man, Will. You should not lose your child due of my actions." She halted, allowing silence to exert its influence. Each pause in The Bold and the Beautiful serves as a weapon, and Luna's silence was profoundly impactful. When Will resisted her attempts at manipulation, the atmosphere became tense, akin to glass poised to break. The guard's arrival terminated the standoff, pulling Luna away as she exclaimed, "You will rescue me, Daddy will extricate us." Her utterance of Daddy, simultaneously delusional and resolute, suggested a fragmented brain, a woman perceiving every man as a pathway to liberation. Upon returning to her cell, she collapsed upon the cot, murmuring to herself in a trance-like state, as if attempting to summon Will's assistance by sheer determination. The scene shifted abruptly to the polished, reflective Forrester Creations design office, where Deke Sharp straightened his collar before Electra Forrester, his self-assurance contending with the specters of familial controversies. "Did an incident occur between Luna and your boyfriend?" Deke's inquiry lingered in the atmosphere, evocative, perilous, and imbued with underlying meaning. Electra's response was immediate. She diverted the conversation, instructing him to concentrate on his first day, however her glimmering eyes revealed a tempest of bitterness. Her statement, "Luna must endure consequences for her actions, as should all who assisted her," unveiled a more sinister aspect of her hitherto refined character. The setting was deliberate. While she seethed, Deke observed her bangles, emblematic of the opulent confines that all participants in this piece inhabit, affluence, appearance, and concealed truths. As he recalled his introduction to Luna via Remy, audiences witnessed the chaotic dynamics of Forrester's current social network, intertwined, amorous, and perilous. Electra's statement, "What Luna did to Will was complicated," was articulated with a blend of pity and revulsion, indicating that the reality of Luna's alleged attack was considerably more ambiguous than anybody was willing to acknowledge. Upon Deke's departure and Will's arrival, the atmosphere transformed into one of uncomfortable tenderness. He declared that Luna sustained bruises, but the infant was unharmed. Electra's relief was accompanied by a bittersweet grin. Her joy at the baby's safety could not conceal her own fatigue from enduring an interminable controversy alongside Will. She reported that inmates assaulted her once more, he admitted, his voice faltering slightly, prompting her to soften. The emotional fatigue between them was tangible. However, as they embraced, Will's eyes revealed discomfort. The director prolonged the embrace sufficiently for the audience to perceive that this connection was already fracturing under the burden of Luna's specter. At Il Giardino, Sheila Carter clumsily dropped a tray of water glasses, her thoughts consumed by a series of distressing memories, Taylor embracing Deacon, Deacon's declarations of love, and the moment he tenderly kissed her toes while vowing eternal devotion. Viewers recognized the irony of such memories. Sheila's love fancies were cinematic illusions rooted in trauma. Her world was disintegrating once more, and the sole guy who had conferred upon her societal validity was currently seated in a psychiatrist's office, being informed that he was trauma-bonded to her. The scene's tempo accelerated, oscillating between Sheila's quaking hands in the restaurant and Deacon seated rigidly opposite Taylor Hayes in her gently illuminated office. Taylor's statement, "You were enamored with Sheila due to your feelings of unworthiness regarding love," was both analytical and empathetic, impacting Deacon profoundly. The narrative encapsulated his complete transformation, from ex-convict and rehabilitating alcoholic to the spouse of one of the most perilous women in soap opera history. Taylor's psychological acuity penetrated Deacon's self-defense mechanisms. "You were united by fear, the fear of solitude," she persisted, as Deacon's demeanor faltered beneath the burden of reality. His admission, "I recognize her insanity, yet I love her," emerged as the emotional focal point of the hour, exemplifying the visceral, paradoxical dialogue that characterizes the bold and the beautiful. Taylor's gentle inquiry on the possibility of trusting Sheila again elicited a heartbreaking response, a weary, tear-streaked giggle. "Do you believe I should depart from her?" he inquired, to which Taylor, with her characteristic combination of composure and compassion, responded, "I believe you ought to heed your heart." Their chemistry rekindled the long-suppressed spark that had characterized their relationship, and when Deacon said, "You make everything feel better," the audience sensed the peril of emotional transference, the type that engenders scandalous affairs and fractured marriages. Later at Il Giardino, Deke visited his father, momentarily highlighting the generational parallels between the sharp men. Their exchange regarding diligence and relationships provided a moment of levity, but, underneath the grins were Deke's incisive inquiries. "How is therapy? How is Sheila?" Provoked a profound consciousness. He recognized that his father was deteriorating. Deacon's admission that Taylor was the perfect fit for him conflated the boundaries between professional and personal, as well as between healing and temptation. His gentle grin while stating, "I'm fortunate to have her," indicated that he was already engaging in emotional infidelity with Sheila. In Taylor's office, she was on the phone, reiterating, "Thoughts aren't facts," a statement rich with irony, because the show's tension largely stems from assumptions, manipulations, and half-truths. Upon Sheila's abrupt entrance, breathless and frantic, the emotional intensity surged dramatically. "I am aware of your involvement with Deacon," she stated, her eyes both frantic and imploring. Her appeal stemmed not from jealousy but from a necessity for existence. Sheila's entire identity was intricately linked to Deacon's approval. Her monologue, "I may have concealed Luna, but I was shot for Steffi. I have transformed, owing to Deacon," served as both admission and diversion, exemplifying a masterful exercise in self-justification. Taylor's refusal to engage, "I cannot discuss my patient," was professional, yet her eyes betrayed fear. Sheila's subsequent utterance, quivering with both truth and illusion, was, "Deacon is my future. The incident with Luna will not recur," establishing a chilling comparison between Luna's manipulative desperation and Sheila's self-destructive quest for salvation. Both ladies, in their respective perverse manners, believed that love could rationalize deception.